It looks like we're going live now. Because I don't want to create an event, right? It takes time and it becomes a little bit problematic if we want to connect to that event. Okay. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We are live now, Mr. Goswell. Thank you for joining me today. As usual, it's going to be about the diversity show in UDP, and we will talk about current issues and take your questions, your concerns. I will let my co-host, Mr. Goswell, introduce greet the audience. Welcome, Mr. Goswell. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, I have to ask you to mute.
Okay. Good evening, Kejau. It's a pleasure to be on this radio. As you said already, it's a diversity show. We're going to deal with the burning issues that are on the hot list, which needs to be addressed. Once again, we say good evening to our followers on the UDP Bantaba and those from other political parties and concerned Gambians. That today we're just doing as usual to have a very productive discussion with you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, man, Mr. Goswell. I think we'll probably start with the bees. You know, the yombas that are chasing Mr. Adama Barrow out of. No, on a serious note, I think we can start with the. We have so many concerns about the draft election bill 2020 that is before Parliament now. We have seen that last weekend it was the. Last weekend, yeah, it was the draft constitution that was the issue, where the government did not support it, and they were jubilating that, and they kind of campaigned against it. We have seen that the minister came into Parliament, and he did not at all explain anything, or as Mr. Uncle Hussein Odabo put it, he didn't defend the constitution. You know, that he's the bill that his government put forward. Just to reiterate on that one, Mr. Goswell, do you think there's a problem with the government just putting a bill forward and the minister taking the back seat? Some people have said that the CRRC also should have also come and defend it. But I think that will have to come, the invitation will have to come from government. And if you can touch a little bit on the election bill that is 2020, that is before that is coming forward, that is coming before the Parliament now, and the concerns that people are expressing about you know, the sport counting that Section 75(1) is giving out, but the Section 75 subsection 2 is taking away when it declares that the commission can designate somebody, some places as counting. I think the problem is in the old act we have collation centers, not counting centers. So there seems to be a misunderstanding there. And even 1979, the Section 74 that is saying that they will carry all the ballot box. I think that's where many people are looking at, in fact, into a truck and then carry it to the counting places. What do you think? What do you think the concerns are? And you know, we have seen also that we have a communique from the ground that some people are saying the inter-party committee met and they stressed it out, and they're saying that this is not going to be there. This is their bill, and they are saying no to it, and they're saying they're going to scrap that section there. Can you dilate on the issue that is before that is coming before the parliament now, and what the people's concerns are, Mr. Goswell?
Right. Thank you very much, Kejau. I shared the same concerns which you have raised. I have been in consultation with some of the participants at this validation meeting. It has now come to me that what actually happened was the initial draft, which was tabled before the workshop, had so many anomalies. And these anomalies or irregularities or suspicion were brought to their attention. And unfortunately, this draft bill was circulated to the social media without realizing that that wasn't the final bill that was adopted. Now, unless the people that I've spoken to are being economical with the truth, I have been told that the bits that we've raised concern about are not going to be part of the bill which they will present before Parliament. So in other words, what we saw on the social media is now technically academic. And the reason why I also want to believe that to a certain extent, few months ago or 18 months ago, they tried to amend the criminal cap code. And there was a similar situation there where they talked about insulting the president could be a crime, or insulting the cabinet minister was a crime. And there again, that portion of the legislation was taken off the bill. So what would have happened is that the one who was drafting this act had put in so much stuff in there and took it to the workshop. And when we went to the workshop said, no, we're not going to have this. This is what we're going to have. But having said so, I do not want to be complacent and I don't want to be naive. The mere fact that somebody thought of putting that in a legislation is really disappointing. Yeah, because it takes us back to 2000.
Absolutely.
Because on-the-spot counting first became a practice when they were electing Moro Jawla as Sefu for Sami. But prior to that, it's a question of taking the votes to the counting centers. It was when they elected Moro Jawla, the first and the last district chief ever to be elected under the Second Republic, that they introduced on-the-spot counting.
That was 2012, wasn't it?
No, 2000. Moro Jawla was 2000, because what happened with Moro Jawla's case was Hussein Dabo defended him in court, and the Supreme Court ordered that they should have district elections. And once he won that seat, APRC or Yahya Jammeh went to Parliament and amended the constitution, whereby this were going to be appointed and not elected. Oh. So the first test case was Dabo that did it and won it for Moro Jawla, the Sefu of Sami. So that's when Tilewa Johnson was the IEC chairman, and he did on-the-spot counting. So what they did was, they got the votes from this area, is it Diabugu East or Latrikunda West or whatever, that center, they count the votes. And that's how they did it in Jammeh's case, and that's how they were able to defeat Jammeh. Because on-the-spot counting, people insisted that it should be part of the process.
Yeah, so, but we didn't see that on-spot counting in 2006 and 2012.
We never had it. I'm afraid we never did. We never did. On-the-spot counting became part of the process in 2016.
Thank you.
So what used to happen was you collect the votes, you sign in documents saying that you sign as an agent, that you certify that your box is being taken to the counting center. You go to the counting center, they count it in front of you again, and you sign again. And what happened was, if you look at some of the allegations that Hussein Dabo has said over the years, all these elections that they've said they've conducted under an atmosphere of free and fair, it's that transportation, that's where the rigging will normally start.
Yeah.
Because once it moves from one end to another, if you don't have people that secure your ballot box, you're in trouble.
Yeah. No, even if it is not, the people will complain that it is being rigged because, I mean, why would you transport ballot boxes? And
well, I mean, that was what they used to do, and that's what they used to do in the Fourth Republic. They used to transport boxes. Like I give you an example, like in Banjul, elections were counted at the Banjul City Council. That was the count. That was the area where they counted all the votes. So they bring all the votes there, they go to the trays and count it. So from the moment they take your ballot box to the moment they take it to the returning officer, anything can happen.
Yeah.
So there's been stories being said about it in the past that this was what happened. My box was taken by the time the police would not allow me to escort them because it's in a truck or it's in a van and you're not allowed to be there.
Exactly.
So what even happened, you don't know. You understand? By the time you go to the polling station, if you don't have a good rep, what should have happened is that you have somebody that's there waiting for them. And what they normally do is they use force, say they don't want to see you here. Yeah. You know, all these bullying tactics that they play at the counting, normally does result to rigging. So they intimidate you. If you're not stubborn enough, you lose control of the whole situation.
Yeah. So the people suspect that it's during the transportation when not everybody can go behind the truck. But then these things are sealed. I mean, they are sealed, but are you saying the seal can be broken and then they can add something?
I don't want to be very this, may he so rest in peace. But I remember Bambo Fati, who was a commissioner, whilst contesting for GPP, did go on a platform and explain how, in most cases, how this thing was not transparent.
Yeah.
He could have showed what could happen with the ballot boxes. You know, Bambo Fati was a commissioner for Birkama, so he must have been, he's the returning officer. So he knew how these things were not transparent in those days. That was during the PPP time. And this is when the Jarek time came over, we knew about the soldiers got involved. Don't forget, they were trying to reject a soldier as a presidential candidate, and the soldiers were very much involved, and they involved under the pretext of security.
Yeah.
So what the heavy-handedness against civilians and also people that are unarmed, people who were also civil, the chances of your ballot being tampered with was very, very high. So this is what was happening. This what used to happen. And that's why in 2000, as I explained earlier, we had on-the-spot counting. And UDP insisted that we have on-the-spot counting.
Yeah.
But the government then was reluctant to have it. And then what actually happened was, in history of it, when they had this group of 6, we talked about electoral reforms, which had all the opposition parties. On-the-spot counting was on the agenda.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to change that agreement, having been elected, you as President Barrow, on the spot counting, and you now want to deny it the people.
Yeah, I mean that is so PC, man.
and number 2, we must not forget. We must not forget that one of the reasons why we won this election, or Barrow won this election, was because of Solo Sanding's death. And Solo Sanding went out on the pretext for electoral reform.
Yeah.
And any electoral reform which falls short of the standards which we expect, then we have done injustice to Solo Sanding's soul.
Absolutely.
May his soul rest in peace.
I mean. Yeah. But don't you think the government is testing the waters? Because, I think this is the second time we have such bills coming.
Well, I mean, yes, I think what they've done is, to say it mildly, you have people that are rushing. They're having a workshop. They don't want to make it simple. They want people to go there and give this a diagnostic approach, looking at it properly and critically. And they come up with some controversial clauses.
Yeah.
Because for them to bring about transportation when knowing that this was something which we've done away with, it's really, really absurd.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like what they did in the constitutional review bill or whatever. You know, I mean, we've fought so hard for this, and now what you're trying to do is take us back to the dark ages. And that's what they've been doing. And that's what they want to do with this one. Because it's not only on the sport counting, there are other clauses. Dual nationality. I mean, when you look at that, you're talking that you're going to defranchise nearly 150,000 Gambians.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these Gambians are people that contribute to your economy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they contribute
and to the success of this government in election.
Yeah, I know. Precisely. I don't want to be political. I'm talking about the economic side. We contribute a lot. We give a lot of remittances. We send a lot to Gambia. We do support a lot of charities. We do a lot of things for them. And now what you wanted to do was to change that dual nationality, making it so difficult. Well, I wasn't surprised. I told people very long ago, I don't know whether I've mentioned it here in our previous program, that we must not be complacent with electoral reform.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that in this bill, they were trying to disenfranchise us? I mean,
yes.
Are you saying that dual citizens will not be able to vote?
Yes, if you check clause 15A or 15.4, it was saying that if you pay allegiance to a former country, you cannot be in the voters list. and if you're also on the voters list of another country, you cannot be on this list as well.
My God, that is illegal. I mean, they can't.
Well, I mean, the problem is you're saying that. I mean, if I do you justice by just reading what it says here, yeah?
Yeah. Please.
It states, a person shall not be entitled to have his or her name entered or retained on the register if he or she is by virtue of his or her own act, any acknowledgement of allegiance, obedience, adherence to foreign power of state, or concourse or adopt. And then it comes up here, the other one says, it says that subject to section 12, a person whose name is entered on a register of voters in an other country or territory.
So it's not only
you being here.
No, it's not only dual citizens then, because if I Gambian and you're living in UK,
that's it.
Yeah, you know,
that's what I'm saying. Like Kejau, you being a Commonwealth citizen here, you can vote in this country.
Exactly.
Now, what they're saying is that the mere fact that you can vote in this country, you cannot vote in Gambia.
Well, how are they going to verify that? I think these people are trying to bring problems.
Well, this is what they were saying, but as I said earlier, I've already received confirmation to state that this dual citizens will have the right to vote. In other words, this clause is now academic.
Yeah.
So this was what they were trying. The one who did the draft was testing the waters.
Yeah. I think so too, you know. And this time it's not nice at all. I mean, I don't know why.
It is a shame that they say this, they bring up these things up, because the problem is you're going to deny 150,000 people to vote in a process. Now, what benefit do you have out of it? When you want to engage with the Western world and all that stuff, you will need these Gambians in one way or the other.
Yeah.
And to do that is an act of betrayal. President Barrow never won the election simply on the basis of Gambians going out to vote. He won the election primarily with support from the diaspora.
Absolutely. Financial.
And this is something that needs to be re-echoed to the people, because we did the fundraising, we did the mobilization.
Yeah.
We were able to dictate to our families, siblings, and whatever you call them, don't vote for Jammeh, vote for Barrow.
No, in fact, we were instrumental in bringing the coalition together.
And then what even that the people on the ground were very fearful, and we gave them hope.
Exactly. Yeah.
We supported them, we nurtured them, we gave them support.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to come up, for anybody to think of this legislation and start alienating diasporans, that's really dishonest.
Absolutely. It's very sad.
I mean, It's time.
He has to come out and apologize. Anybody?
No, but and secondly, it's even hypocritical because what they say is the foreign affairs, part of foreign affairs, there's another say, and diasporans abroad.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can't say that if you're denying the diasporans the right to vote. You see?
Yeah. So when they said, I think the last section I saw in the last section, it was in red. When they said that they're going to try and conduct elections outside the country. I mean, who is going to vote then? Is it people who work for the government or what?
Well, this is what they were saying, but now what's going to happen is that they're going to have elections outside the country, and me and you and many others will have a right to vote. It wouldn't mean that we adhere allegiance to the Queen or whatever, or to President Trump, whoever you want to say. That clause concerning prohibition or disqualification of diasporans is no longer relevant. But the initial plan was to deny us that simple right to vote.
No wonder the Yombas are not happy. I mean, the bees are everywhere.
well, you can say that.
I mean, this guy, he put they put so many commissions together. The first commission was Janet Commission, and when they wrote the recommendations, he watered it down. In the second one, he had the Human Rights Commission, the guy who is the Human Rights Commissioner now. He asked him to investigate, to put together a commission actually.
Yeah, that's the Farama Banta. That's the Farama Banta case. Yes, where lives were lost. Where lives were lost, and up to now, no one has been charged for it.
Yeah, and that's why people are saying even the TRRC. Do you think anything will come out from there then?
Well, the TRRC, I hope not, because the TRRC personally is something which I have so much affection for.
Yeah,
and it will be disappointing if this process is being disbanded, or what you call scrap, because it's cost a lot of money, and it's cost more money than the Constitutional Review Commission.
Really?
Yes, because they've already spent about 50 million on trying to do some reparations, I understand.
Okay.
People, and that excludes about the other bits about having a whole paying staff and all that stuff, doing all this.
Yeah, and they did a lot of overseas travel.
Traveling. So if we want to ask for an estimate, I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than 116 million. And secondly, these are programs which came out of Coalition 2016.
Yeah.
And it looks as if we've gone through Jammeh's assets, or Jammeh and his cohorts, with the corruption. This, for one reason or the other, the courts have not given us the desired result. We went to the Constitutional Review Commission, and last Tuesday, or this Tuesday past, the parliamentarians thought it was wise to ignore the views of the majority of Gambians. Now, I don't know where we move from there, but it's very sad. It seems as if we will not.
The government has failed.
No, what will happen is that, Kejau, it will be very difficult in future to have a consultation process where you call Gambians to take part in it.
Yeah, and even the international community that is supporting these things, because most of the money is coming from them. And we've seen them last week. They started complaining, and I've seen two parties. I think it's the GAP and the APRC coming out to condemn them.
Well, you see, the problem is, I do share some sentiments with them. I think the timing was unfortunate. They could have waited until the vote was done, and then they raised their concern.
No, but that's too late then. I think
but the problem is, if you say it before, you're more of sort of a blackmail type, if you understand what I mean. I don't think, personally, I support the bill. I supported the bill.
Some people are saying it was too diplomatic. I mean,
But the problem is you cannot have a voting process, and you start telling people vote for this person. It was interfering.
No. I think that is different. These people are saying that we cannot waste our money. They have an obligation to their taxpayers.
Well, yes. Well,
we put this
you
thing
may
forward.
say so.
And it's not the people they're talking to, it's the government, I mean, the parliament. I mean, they are saying it will be great if we do it. I think that's what the language they were saying. They're not saying do this. They're saying it will be great if we go through this and you know, we have a new constitution.
Well, yes. I mean, when you look at it now, coming to what you're saying now, what I felt was, when I look at the whole debate, I felt as if we were the biggest losers. Those who voted against were the biggest losers because they had a chance to change this law and they refused to change this law and they decided to kill the bill before the second reading. Because all they could have done is said, yes, we vote for it, and then we go to the committee stage and look at it clause by clause.
Call the CRC. They're interested in it at all.
Call CRC and say to them, we need clarity on this, we need clarity on that. Because most of them were not clear with some of the issues raised on this on the bill. Well, I had contact with some of them, and some of the questions they raised were very, very discouraging. Yeah. Because I thought, having been a parliamentarian for 4 years or 5 years, you should have known this already.
No, so I think it's the level of understanding. These people, most of these parliamentarians, they don't grasp what is happening around them. They don't even understand what the point is. You know, you can see these people, they're talking about brackets, you know, when people bracket and you know, simple things that without being a parliamentarian, if you understand what English law, what English is talking about, you know, you will understand that, you know, if you have first person and then the two people had the same votes, you know, they are saying all three is going to be there and they're struggling with that. I think it's a matter of understanding.
What should have happened? The thing that I only hope we have a UDP government, and I only hope when we have a UDP government, we'll make sure that the office of the National Assembly is in possession of about 2 legal counsels that will advise the parliamentarians on certain aspects of law.
Yeah, before the bill comes out.
Because what happened is, what you
raised this year before.
What you fail to realize is that these people are not lawyers, and they were dealing with a law, and they did not understand. I mean, the essence of the sovereignty of the Constitution was a problem for them to grasp.
No, but they had this bill before them for I mean, not even before them. They had it for
and Kejau, you cannot. I've never heard where you have a written constitution and you want to say that the parliament is sovereign. That was one argument they brought up. The other argument they brought up is we have too much powers.
Yeah.
They failed to understand what checks and balances were all about.
Absolutely.
They failed to grasp the doctrine of separation of powers and checks and balances.
Yeah.
Now, when they were saying these things, I would have expected the Attorney General to remind them of the Nigerian Constitution.
Yeah, or basic tenets.
Because the Nigerian Constitution, you cannot appoint a minister. A minister's post cannot be confirmed unless he goes through the House of Representatives and Senate for public appointments. And that's where you scrutinize.
Sorry. Let me just remind our viewers that, you know, they can post questions and answers. We're looking at the comments. So anybody who has any concerns, you can raise it, you know. But these people are talking about the remuneration of judges. They're saying judges, when they retire, they shouldn't be paid anything. I mean, I think your concept that they need legal advice and they need consultations, but they had 3 or 4 months to look at this bill. They could have raised it with so many people, you know, even if with their children who are educated, you know, if you raise it with those people, they would have explained it to you what the concept is, you know, what the trend is around the world. We don't want our judges to feel that you know, when they retire, they're not going to get any money.
But let me put it this way. A judge is a very sensitive post.
Exactly, exactly.
And when you look at it, up to 19 say 80, 82, 80, 85, we had only one judge, a Gambian, yeah?
Yeah.
We had foreigners coming in, dealing with our jurisprudence. Now we have moved forward, now we have more Gambians. Now, we still need Gambians to be judged in our judicial system. You got to remember when Yahya Jammeh was trying to bring up the appeal against the petition, he was relying on Nigerian judges.
Yeah, yeah.
And they refused to turn up. Now, for you to ensure that judges continue to practice the doctrine of impartiality, you need to make sure that they're properly remunerated, giving them the best benefits ever. Now, I wouldn't call name, but I know of a Gambian that was a judge, and after he resigned, and one of the reasons why he resigned was not that he never wanted to be on the bench. According to unconfirmed sources, the reason why he left was because the remuneration was very low.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is
and it was very low. And people might say he wasn't ready to sacrifice, but I don't blame him, because if he has a family to look after, the government has to make sure that he's well remunerated.
And if they go to private practice, they get a lot more money than this. I mean,
now what they're saying is what they paid them was the pension plan was quite high. Yes, but you could have come to the committee stage.
Exactly.
And decided and say, yes, it's high. Let's reduce it. But no, let's kill it.
Yeah.
So the problem is, I don't know what the options are. So now, everything is at the mercy of the government again to come up with a bill which is not the wishes of the Gambian people. When you said you were going to have a referendum, you were going to answer to the people. The people have created a bill. Now, Parliament had the chance to do their submissions. Parties had the chance to do their submissions. I'm made to believe only few parties made their submissions to the CRC. So some of these parliamentarians that were talking last time didn't bother making the submissions.
Yeah, you are right. We didn't hear.
Now they're claiming that it's not well consulted. We were not. The consultation was poor, and if this goes out, I'll campaign against it. I mean, for God's sake, what you've done is not. You haven't done it against UDP. You've done it against the people of the Gambia.
Absolutely.
Because that bill is the people of the Gambia that have said this is what we want. And for anybody, I challenge anybody that continues to say that this has the hallmarks of UDP. It has nothing to do with us. Not all what we said or submitted was taken on board. So it's very dishonest for anyone saying, oh, this was a UDP bill.
Well, why do you think they were saying that? Is it because...
Well, the problem is, you see, the obsession with some people is that it's been going on since after the election, after the parliamentary elections. Some people make it a fashion to criticize UDP when they haven't got anything to criticize UDP about. Yeah. I'll give you an example.
Even the beast, they're saying this is UDP.
No, I'll give you an example. When we went for the councillors election, there was so much noise. And the problem with the noise was, we don't want UDP candidates to win. And they did it. They even brought in religion into it. They tried so much they think they wanted to do. And what happened? We swept the polls. Easy. Mm-hmm. We won more than ever before.
Yeah.
From four wards to 65 wards. Mm-hmm. From 0 councils or chairman or mayors to 7. Yeah. That's not enough. They still come up with this idea, oh, it's UDP. Now, if Ousainou Darboe was still in government as vice president, the tone would have changed. They would say, vote yes.
Really?
Well, that's how I see it, because I saw people who were jubilant about it. And people said to me, oh, yes. And I said, I did not support this bill because of UDP. I support this bill because it's the voice of the people. It's the people's voice that I was defending. And I think most UDP supporters, National Assembly, that's what we were doing.
Well, don't you think this is good for the UDP that some, the level-headed people have seen that UDP actually stands for what is good for the country? And I didn't hear most of the usual people who will the CSOs, if you like, the civil society organizations. Most of them are in support of these things, and the UDP in support of it. So the only
the problem is we have something to tell the people. For far too long, they blame us for the fall of the coalition. Now we are saying that we can blame them equally for betraying the views of the people.
Yeah.
And which is much more serious, because what happened was this was a huge consultation. Kejau, as I said before, I wasn't around in 1997 when they did consultation. I was relatively very young, a toddler, a young boy in nursery school when they did the 1970 constitution. Now, this one, I wanted to be in this part, and I said, I want to be part of.
So why were you not allowed in 1997? Was it because you were outside the country? Or?
I was outside the country.
Yeah.
And there was no such thing as consultation. But now, this one.
The consultation happened in 1996. I remember I was in the country as well. I was in Ghana.
So you didn't participate as well?
No, I didn't even see it.
Yes, but that's it. That's it. The consultation was even poor. This one was more exhaustive, Yeah. It went across the board, So if you don't send your submissions, then it's your fault, because the opportunity was there. The degree of fear which we had on the 1996 wasn't there. Yeah. Everybody could express their views. And this is the opportunity that they've denied Gambians. The act talked about disability. It talked about women's rights. I know this issue about Sharia is controversial. Yes, but we could have changed it at the committee stage.
No, I think that was even furthering the rights of women, because before we still have Sharia courts in the 1997 constitution, but then there is no right to appeal. And now they're just putting rights of appeal.
Well, that's one aspect, but there's another aspect with the Christian community rightly question that deals with inheritance and all that stuff. Now, that's a controversial issue.
Yeah, but inheritance is still as it is in 1997 constitution.
No, but I think what has happened is that if Kejau was to marry a Christian lady on legal, there's certain provisos involved in it. Which court do you go to?
The marriage will not be subjected to the Muslim Act.
Well, I think when you leave,
the problem is most of our legal experts don't even understand the Mohammedan Act. The Muslim Marriage Act. I think that's where the problem is. I was lucky that I went to GTTI and Mr. Alaji Drame, an old legal luminary, taught us these things. So because during the consultation, I've seen, lawyers who are seasoned lawyers, Article 19, whatever, they didn't understand what is happening with this act. And it's simple. It is saying that if you go and marry in the mosque, then you are subject to it. If you don't go and marry in the registry, you are not. Simple as that.
According to some legal luminaries, they say we were not protected. And I said, okay.
No, but they don't understand.
No, but the problem is, Kejau, for me to come here and say this, it means a lot, because I'm a Christian. And it
doesn't affect you at all.
I'm very passionate about equality. Okay. And what I was saying that, right, if you got this concern, why not lobby parliamentarians for them to make some adjustments to the law? Why should you advocate for the law to be scrapped? That is my problem. That's my problem. Any responsible person would have said, you know what? Let's not kill this bill. I'll give you an example. You see the 1997 Constitution? I hated it when it came to the bill. But I looked at it, I said, you know what? We have a choice here. We scrap it. We don't know what APRC will do. Will they adopt the 1970 Constitution, or will they continue in office? You understand? Now, in this case...
And to be frank, 1997 Constitution is a lot better than 1970 Constitution.
Well, I mean, that's a matter of opinion. The problem is, the reason why I don't like the act is the mere fact that, you know, you are telling me that decrees become part of the law. Decrees that were passed by 5 people became part of the law. If you go through the transitional provisions, decrees, all the decrees were part of the law. That's why when O.J. Jallow tried to question the legality of decree number 89, it was thrown out. Simple like that. Because they say you cannot question the legality of a decree which was passed during the APRC regime.
But even the fact that we need 75% to get these laws in. I mean, what were the Gambians thinking about when they endorsed this 1997 Constitution?
Well, I mean, you see, as I said,
2/3 was needed. But this thing they're asking for 3/4.
Well, yes.
5%.
Well, you see, the problem is part of strengthening the Constitution. Right? And number 2, as I said to you, people thought this was the only way in which.
And if you look at the preambles, they are justifying the coup. I mean,
yes.
I think we have. That's why some people were blaming Halifa Saleh, you know, because he was in that thing, and he's still saying that, you know, listen, we can go back to this 1997 Constitution and re-amend it. You know, I don't think that's.
No, I think what Halifa said,
yeah,
is this. He was looking at the cost-benefit analysis, right?
What about morality?
But the problem is, he was saying, looking at the Constitution as it is, and do the sub changes. Now, when you do that, there's certain like intent clauses which will have to go to the people. Certain intent clauses will have to go to the people. And that was where my doubts were raised. The other thing is, I don't know disrespect to the parliamentarians, but this was quite a heavy job to deal with. I've seen with the CRC what they've done, because we wanted to consult people. The 1997 Constitution did not have wide consultation.
Yeah.
Now, I cannot guarantee 56 parliamentarians or 58 parliamentarians with the task of doing a massive consultation, even though they have an electorate base of 800,000.
Exactly.
I do not think, because it's a question of who do you trust, who do you want to listen to, who do you want to communicate with. But whereas you had the CRC, which was independent and neutral, it can come in and give you the leeway for you to say what you want. And this is what happened. It was a forum where people came out and said what they wanted. They were not under any coercion. And what you have now is that if we had lived with the parliamentarians have so many bills to pass, so many motions to go through, and they give them the Constitutional Review Commission. How are you going to do it?
Exactly, and they don't even understand the concepts that are.
Well, that's another issue. I mean, I wouldn't want to say much about it because I may be perceived as being rude. But I mean, we've seen their performance on Tuesday, and that shows that I wouldn't trust these people with amending the Constitution.
Exactly. Some of them were saying, even the ones that we thought are educated, the minority leader was saying Kenya was in South Africa.
Well, that's my good friend. Leave him alone. That's my good Nyamina friend. I like Nyamina.
I think we don't want him in Nyamina. I think we have to throw him to Jara because
no. Leave him there. That's a good friend of mine. I have so much respect for him. But one of those things, he voted for no, and I just have to move with it. Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's very unfortunate, but moving on, let's move on to policy issues here. I thought we can talk about a little bit because we are almost, you know, 3/4 way through this program now. It's almost quarter past. I thought the Gambian people will want to have questions. But then one of the questions that I had personally was that is the 50% in the 1997 Constitution, is it an entrenched clause? You know,
well, it wasn't. The problem is the 50% was never entrenched.
Yeah.
So what happened was, first election, second election, he scrapped it. And that gave rise to us having what we call NAD. You got to understand that when he contested the elections in 1996, he had 51%. 51% and 51.36%. Yeah. And when he contested again in 2001, he had 53%. So when he came to 2006, after 2002, he decided to change the law, saying that simple majority. That's when he changed it. And that was what led to opposition parties forming what we call NAD. And the story of NAD, I don't want to spend time on it. You know what happened in the end. So the first two elections were based on 50%. The 2006 was based on simple majority. The 2011 simple majority. The 2016 simple majority.
So you are saying that Barrow can go ahead and bring this before Parliament and say that you know, he doesn't want simple majority.
Well, it's up to him, and he can do it, but he has to understand that he's at the massive UDP now.
Yeah, as long
because
as
the problem is because the problem is
candidates do the right.
No, because the problem is you only need 23 votes to spoil it. And I don't want to preempt them, but I would expect them to do what is right for the party.
No, but you are saying if it is a simple majority in Parliament that they can bring it forward and say we want.
No, they can't bring. It cannot be simple majority.
That's the question. Thank you.
It can't be simple majority. It has to go to the 3/4 majority, 75%.
Even though it's not an entrenched clause, it has to go through 75%.
Yes, because it's a change of a constitution. If it's an act of parliament, if it's an act of parliament, then it's simple majority.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So there's no way they can change it. I think our people can relax and understand that, you know, when it comes to 2021, we as Okulu Davo said,
let's hope for it. Yes, let's hope for it.
Hopefully. I think the Yombas, the bees have shown us that you know they are going to make him run away from this place if we could do it.
Well, he's more than welcome to come back to Badebo if he wants some. Beef.
I know. I've never had. I think they're saying that during the World War II when the Tubabs went to get them to volunteer for service in World War II. Yeah. I think they said the Yombas came out, the bees came out. But then in the, what's it called again? I know in Yamina, in places like Yamina, we have very, very wild bees there. So he should be very careful. And maybe that's why he never stops there, you know? Maybe that's why.
You see, the problem is, it's unfortunate what Barrow is doing now. And what Barrow is doing, people are not understanding it. Barrow by law can tour the country once every year, minimum. And what he's doing now is trying to make good use of launching these laying foundations and all that stuff. So when it comes to December, he'll go and do a tour of the provinces, of which he wouldn't have anything else to do other than to politic. People are not looking at this properly. What Barrow is doing now is going to lay foundations, lay workshops, foundations, opening this, opening that, so that when it comes to December, he has nothing else except to go and say, I'm talking to the people and politic.
So you think that's why the bees understand that?
No, but maybe I can't say I can't corroborate it, but my instinct tells me that this is a dirty game he's playing now. Because what he could have done, he could have waited. We have a COVID-19 scenario where people are dying, all that stuff, because of not compliant social distancing. And now you're going around saying you're going to lay foundation here, opening this, that, doing that, all that stuff. Why not wait till December when it's not during the rainy season, when by then COVID-19 would have, the death rates or the infection rate would have gone down. So what he's done now is that he's going to do all this program that was posted on the social web. And then come December, he's got 20 days to go around to the country and launch his political party. And the criminal nature of it is that the government is sponsoring this program.
No, but that's illegal. I think that's why.
Because the problem, well, this is what I've been saying even in time of Jammeh. What will happen is that he will have access to government vehicles, per diem, night allowance, and a lot of people will follow him. And he will go around the country launching his political party.
I don't think he can do that, and I don't think we should.
Well, I don't know, but with the greatest respect, what happened in 2011? What did? Are you okay there? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
What happened in 2011? Jammeh did not go out until he used his dialogue with the people as part of his campaign.
Yeah, but Jammeh is a criminal. I don't think.
Well, I mean, the problem is they all learn from each other. You understand? I don't want to give them credence, but we know that these days you got APRC enablers that in the government, and they're telling him this is how we should do it.
Yeah, still, I don't think Barrow will go that low. I mean, I think he's
sorry
for many things, but I don't think don't think he's going to go that low. I mean, because
mark my words now. Mark my words. Come December, he won't have anything to unveil, and he's just going to use that as dialogue with the people when he's just going there to launch his political party.
Yeah. So officially, you're saying he's going to come out and say, "I'm meeting the farmers' store." But then he's going to talk politics. But he cannot officially launch the party saying, I'm launching my party. I mean...
No, but the problem is when they go there, what they do, you have a rally in Japine, or you have a rally in Kafuta, or you have a rally in Diabugu, and then you start talking. You do one small event of being there. Then what you happen, you go to Diabugu, and you start talking politics.
Yeah.
You deny these kids school time, time in the class, and they come out in their thousands, and you talk politics.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. And let us be fair.
I mean, Barrow says he's a good Muslim. I mean, how do they do that? How do they do that?
Well, you know, in the Bible, they say many are called, but few are chosen. Yeah. So anyone that says he's a good Muslim or a good Christian, I don't think I take that on board. It's based on how you behave.
Absolutely, and things like this is abhorrent. This is, I mean, you cannot use people's money and launch your own campaign. I mean, you know, he shouldn't even talk politics when he's going out to these places.
Well, the problem, the whole idea of dialogue with the people it's a shame. This new draft would have scrapped it. So we're still going to have dialogue with the people.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
This new draft will have scrapped it, and we're going to have it. And the criminal nature of dialogue with the people is that you don't talk non-partisan issues. You talk politics there. You talk about defections. Oh, they bring in people that have just said they support UDP. They're not in our UDP database or not on what you call GDC database, and say, oh, I've got 500 supporters from UDP that have joined NPP, and they give them T-shirts. So what's happened? I have followed this for a very long time. I followed it even during the Jawara era, about what in the Jawara era used to call meet the farmer's store. Yeah. But in there, although they used to have the farmers
But how do they call it now? We mean the people.
No, they call it dialogue with the people.
Oh, dialogue with the people.
Yeah, dialogue with the people, yes. So that's what they happen. Then somebody will come, each area they bring in a troublemaker. Don't be surprised when they go to Birkama, they bring in Lamin Wajuara, and Lamin Wajuara will give us the worst criticism and all that stuff. And they go to certain areas, they bring in somebody that's known to be an ardent opponent of Usain Dabo, and they bring him on, says a lot of stuff, they give him a few money, and that's it. So the whole politics is a nasty game. Very nasty game.
And that's why politicians don't have respect at all. And
that's why you saw Uncle Dembo Boyang. Uncle Dembo Boyang, he never said anything until he came to Banjul and he started insulting Usain Dabo. I mean, a man of such stature who I had so much respect for, nothing was said. Now, Barrow did all his campaign until he came to Banjul. Now, he couldn't say it in at KMC, but when he came to Banjul, I-22, he lost the plan, said anything what he wanted, just to please Adama Barrow.
So why did you think he chose Banjul then? Are you saying?
Well, I mean, strategically, when I look at it, they didn't make a lot of gain at KMC.
Okay.
So that's what that was the issue there. And when they came to Banjul, it was his last rally, and that was where he was going to announce that he's going to form a political party. So that was where Dembo Bojang was asked to do the nailing of the coffin, of their coffin, not our coffin, because I don't think he said anything that I can take as damaging to the party. Because it's a man that I have so much respect for, and I still respect him as an individual, but a bit disappointed that his political career had to end this way.
Has it? Are you saying that it's ended? I mean, people don't respect him anymore.
Well, I mean, the problem is Dembo was a face. Dembo was one of somebody that I followed since 1978.
He doesn't have substance. I don't know how you can follow someone.
No, but the problem is Dembo was one of those, it was a resistance.
Yeah, okay.
The resistance. I mean, we got to give NCP the credit that they deserve, because PPP had a heavy hand, but you had some people that showed resistance. The Jibu Giants, the Fode Bajames, the Fode Makalu, these people showed resistance.
Yeah.
And they tried all what they could to convince them to come over, and they refused.
Yeah, but looking back in hindsight, you can see that all these people, they don't have substance.
Well, I mean, yes, the problem with they don't have substance is because, as I said before, is that we have a culture where people were not ready to take part in politics.
Yeah, and it's still around.
Yes, and it's still around. And when you see people making too much noise, and I say to them, the culture, people refuse to participate in the process. And that's been a reason why we have all this situation. Now, it's just like the teaching field.
Yeah.
We don't have good teachers. We have Ghanaians that are teaching us, you understand? Yeah, I'm giving you an example, Nigerians, Sierra Leoneans, yeah, foreigners, ever say yes. Now, in the politics, you don't have people that are ready to go into politics. But you have people that want to criticize politicians now and say they're rubbish.
Yeah.
When you look at the trend, we had less graduates in the opposition in those days. Less graduates.
Yeah, I think that's why Doi had this cloud, you know,
yes.
Educated, because they were the only people we can see in the opposition who really had some little bit substance, who had educated.
Yeah.
Who had education. And it's the trend now. That's why I'm still talking to women, especially, you know, convincing them to come and join UDP. You know, in private, I try to call them and talk to them, not only women, I mean, our men folks as well, because I think we have to do that as individuals, trying to talk to them, and especially people who are really vocal and they're sitting on the sidelines. You know, people like my sister and the Jobate, you know, and the others, you have to keep talking to them. And you know, Maimuna C, you know, even Adu Salah, you know, try and talk to them and see if they can come and join us in politics, because it's important that you know, we remove that barrier from you know, from our dialogue and understand that you know, politics is noble. Politics is where we have look at the parliament now. You know, you see some other people, and it's a serious thing.
Well, the threshold for parliament, I mean, the problem is I wouldn't want to complain a lot. What you have is graduates, educated elites, not ready to participate in a process. And if you don't participate in a process, someone else will do it.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at it from that angle, few graduates were ready to support the opposition, First Republic. Jebel Salah was an opposition member and a politician and a graduate. And people were saying that, why are you following the opposition? Why not go and work for the government? You see, that was the notion they had at the time. Now you have other people that will not support the opposition, will say it's a waste of time. I would rather go and support the ruling government, get employment, and that's it. Now, for a graduate to participate in politics as an opposition, it's a huge sacrifice.
But I don't think now, because if we're talking about UDP being the opposition, you know, hopefully it's just going to be for a year at most. You know, so now telling them to come and join UDP, it's not like you know, you're telling them to sacrifice.
No, but you know, you got to understand that then the fashion was there were not a lot of graduates. Graduates were seen as, you know, it was now everybody, every corner you go, somebody's got a degree or diploma.
Yeah, now we are turning out thousands every year.
Yes. Now what you have to understand is that graduates were seen as something else. These days, young lads are having master's degrees, PhDs, and all that stuff, especially in Yamina. That's where you have all the doctorate holders. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, we always had.
Yes. So you got to see doctorate holders, PhD, doctors, trained lawyers. So there's the elitism has reached a new pace. So what you have is people will now have to decide and say, do I want to be governed this way? Or do I have to continue supporting the government? So that's where there's a choice now. So I see no reason why graduates should not take their role in politics. But having said so, let's not turn to an elitist group. If you don't have the people, you will never be president. Absolutely. And you only have the people by knowing the people. And it's not about what you've read in university that will make you a president or what you call or parliamentarian. It's what you could deal with the people. Interaction with the people is very important.
Yeah.
And some of these elites, with the greatest respect, because of they've read too much, have this feeling that, you know, interaction with the people, not necessary. I don't give a damn. I can do what I like. Come election time, people say, well, tough luck. We don't need you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
yes.
That's a very fair assessment, and I think it's a good advice that our but you have seen that UDP is really good in that.
Well, I mean, the problem is UDP will never fall short of technocrats.
Yeah.
That's what people have to understand. UDP was never fall short of technocrats. The founding fathers were some quite seasoned civil servants with good degrees and good bachelor's and good master's degree. We were never short of that. But we had to balance it to make it an all-inclusive. UDP could have selected an executive and put in 32 of them. Not one of them would be a high school graduate, would be university graduate. But no, we have to be grassroots oriented. And that's why you have take from there, bring someone here, and that's it. So we were never short of elites to run the party. But we were very mindful that we need to share with those without degrees and bring them on and nurture them on. Kejau, you're on mute. Unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I think this guy is trying to call me. I mean, this is the problem with Gambians. You're trying to call me, and I send you a video to say I am online, but you still don't care. You still calling me.
I had that last week, and I ignored the person.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but this guy is not going to be ignored. He still keeps calling me, and this is why you get angry and block them. Yeah, but we have some comments that, and we thought this was going to be a town hall. Some people are saying Brahma Mane is saying he's calling me Mr. Kekoi. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But he's saying, is it fair for Barrow to use government resources for the campaign in 2021, or is he going to vacate State House? This idiot. Sorry.
Well, I mean, the law is he shouldn't use state funding, state resources to run his campaign. But the problem is, as an incumbent, he has that illegitimate advantage, which we've talked about many years ago. It's morally, it's wrong, but legally, it's a question of us having the inter-party committee meet and say to President Barrow, this election, we do not want you to use state vehicles, state personnel, apart from your security for your rallies. We don't want to see any civil servant at any of your rallies. But that is something which needs to be clarified. Are you there, Kejau?
Yeah. I'm trying to block this
Yeah.
guy because he will not even listen to what I'm trying to tell him.
Yeah, so what happened is, legally, it's wrong. You can't use state resources. All what you can do is what you can do is sit down 2 months before the elections. You bring it up to the IEC, saying that there's a likelihood that Adama Barrow will use state resources to run his campaign, and that ranges from government vehicles, government personnel, and people using the dialogue with the people as a means of running his campaign. Because Kejau, as I said earlier, if he runs his campaign in December, he can wait till December and say he's doing dialogue with the people. And in that case, he's entitled to all state resources.
Yeah.
He's entitled to all, people will be paid per diems. Yeah. And that will come from the states. So he's got an advantage already before using MPP's resources. And situations like that, he's likely to win it because he would have got so much in his disposal. So, so I'm expecting UDP, all the opposition parties, to make it clear to him that there should be no such thing as dialogue with the people during campaign period. It should be a campaign period, simple. And the IEC should lay down the rules about the itinerary so that it makes it very difficult for him to use that itinerary to go on dialogue with the people at the expense of state resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think, I'm looking at what he does. I don't think he's going to listen to anybody.
Well, I mean, the problem is there are legal means that you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
You can challenge the IEC. You can seek for an injunction. You can explore the legal mechanisms.
Yeah.
I mean, it's election period, there's certain restrictions.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I hope he listens, otherwise we can take
Well, yes, but the problem now is that there's no such thing as all inter-party at the moment. I don't, NPP is not legally constituted yet, if you know, from my own understanding. It's not been launched yet, yeah?
No, but,
it's
registered. It's registered as part of the party.
Yes, it's registered, but it's not been launched.
Yeah, and that's what someone is saying. Mr. Brahma Mane, the guy is saying, but he's not in a party yet. He's not in a party which is in a power. He's a coalition leader. NPP is in power yet. I think he's talking about something different. But you know.
Yes, but the problem is, Barrow did, when they last had their rally in Banjul, Barrow said he's forming his own political party called MPP.
Yeah, and former Cisa is saying we have to make him listen to us. And I think the way that we can make him listen to us is by taking him to court.
Well, yes, but the problem is, with the greatest respect to all what they've said, the problem is NPP or NPP will need to show that decency of ready to talk with all opposition parties.
Yeah.
Which they haven't done so far yet. If they want these elections to be deemed as credible, they should sit down with all stakeholders and we start working on it.
So is the all party, I don't know how they call them again, the all party commission or what? You know, that need to drag them into the...
No, it's the all inter-party committee which was set up.
Yeah.
The all inter-party commission had what we call a memorandum of understanding.
Yeah.
Now, that memorandum of understanding was signed by the surviving parties. Now, since that memorandum of understanding, we've had extra 8 political parties that have been formed. So all those political parties have to sign to that MOU.
Oh, 8 political parties. We're not talking about the independent. They are not parties, you know.
But I'm giving you. Let me give you a scenario. Now they all have to agree to that because APRC agreed to it, PPP agreed to it.
Yeah.
DOI, GPDP, GMC, GDC.
Yeah.
And I think, well, those are the parties that we're on. But now you got more parties in.
Now we have NPP.
And we're NPP,
CAP,
and GFA.
Yeah, GFA, yeah.
GFA, you got GN GANU.
GANU, yeah.
GANU, that's Sirif Haidara's party. And you got All People's Party. And you got GAP.
Party again.
That's Gumbo Touray's party.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you got Gumbo Touray's party, you understand? So you got all these parties that now have to sign up to the MOU.
Yeah, so I think I have about 13 parties now in total. So we had 6, now we had 7 added there.
Yes.
It's becoming a crowd.
Well, yes, I mean, the more the merrier, because...
But then we have independents as well. SOC is there, and who else? Apart from SOC, who else is independent?
I think SOC is there, but the problem is SOC wants to be babysitted by by opposition parties.
Yeah, and she's calling herself Socialist Coalition.
What she wants is she wants to be looked after by opposition parties.
Why? Because she's the only lady or what? I think there are other ladies who are coming out. She didn't understand that.
Well, she's the only one I know for now.
Right now, yes. But we have some other ladies that I know of that are coming out, you know, and then they have started doing their thing with and now they're coming out totally. I know this Kianka lady, you know, who was doing all these farmers, you know, building farmers, and I saw UDP people supporting them, and I think now they understand because they're taking. And I know another guy from Nyamino Kurang, Alaji Kurang, you know, he was in the commission as a clerk, if you remember,
yes.
You know, Jane Commission, yeah. And I think he's trying to form his own. I think he's coming out because he's not going to form his own party. I don't think so, because he has not registered it. But he's coming.
I think what they're trying to do is set up a base, and what will happen is that it will be a trump card for in the event of any deals that have to be made.
Yeah, but then now we have forced past the posts. I mean, simple majority. So, it doesn't look like, there are going to be deals going to be made. And that's why I wasn't really happy that we had to give up our chance to win Nyamina West elections to GDC. But
I don't know what's the latest about it. What's the latest about it?
Yeah, I think what the party is saying now is a little bit too late. They have given them their word, and UDP being a party of their word, I think we all have to rally behind them. But then, they are hoping that GDC is going to reciprocate. I mean, I don't think so, because I think, GDC, we have seen their conduct during this voting, but people are saying that, the party leader doesn't have control over his people in parliament anymore.
Well, I mean, we will leave that for now. We don't have to. We know that there's a goodwill from GDC, so we leave that for now, because these are
party leader. But do you think we need their goodwill, since it's going to be a simple majority?
Well, I mean, every vote counts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I don't see GDC coming out to say, okay, I'm going to give you Jimara. I'm not going to campaign there a lot. You guys can go.
Well, that's another, because at the moment, what will happen is that we're having elections. What would have happened if this constitution had gone through is that we would have two types of elections. In other words, we have elections, all the parliamentary and the presidential would have been held on the same day. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, this time now, we're not having that. We're going to go back to the old system when we have elections, presidential elections, and then 4 months later, we have parliamentary elections.
Yeah, I see your point.
Yes, so that's unfortunate, because these are one of the things that makes me really annoyed, that we lost the chance of even cutting costs on elections.
Well, maybe that's a good opportunity for us, because
we have to
win the presidential elections. It's going to be very obvious that the people will support us, like Gambian. But then some people are saying, is saying there is a GYFC party. Oh no, okay, that is Gambia Youths for Change. That's the party about Alaji Kura. Well, I don't think it's a party former. I think it's just an independent, because he hasn't registered it. And I'm sure if he had registered it, Mr. Goswell would have known about it.
Well, I mean, not really. I'm not a high authority.
No, but you are current. I mean, you are current. You're one of the most current persons I know. So Lamin Damfa is saying that don't name NRP because they never exist. Let us call them NPP, NRP. Because it looks like the NRP guy is giving his party up for Barrow.
Well, I mean, what they've done now is that it's a shame the law has been changed, but under the old law, we would have seen how we can deselect them or call for an elections, because look as if they're becoming MPP than NRP. Yeah. So we'll wait for their Congress, which will be held in December. I'm not sure whether we'll have Congress in December because of the COVID-19 and all that stuff.
But they haven't had any Congress or meeting since they went to.
No, they had Congress. They had their Congress in 2018.
Really?
Yes, all parties had their Congress. It was it was something that they had to comply with, part of the law.
For 2018, I'm talking about really 2020. What about 2019?
Well, I'm not sure about that. I don't know whether NRP had any rally. Yeah.
They did not. And Brahma Mane is saying the current IEC chairman doesn't show any signs of good practice. Nyamina and Brikama elections are delayed just because the Mwadis attempted to remove on the sport counting. So Mr. Mane is blaming the IEC chairman for removing that thing. I don't think that we can blame him.
No, I don't think we can blame him. And all fairness, I mean.
But then we can blame him for Nyamina West. I think they're saying that the COVID-19 is the reason why they couldn't hold that. But COVID-19 started when? This guy died almost how many months ago?
Yeah.
And then the Brikama case, he's dragging his leg.
Well, the Brikama case is subject to litigation in the Supreme Court, or in the High Court.
No, because he was dragging his legs, his feet. And that's why we have to take him to court. If he had gone by the law, we wouldn't need to do that. I mean, don't forget that. You know, it was because he refused.
Yes, but see,
yeah. So that's why we are trying to force him in the courts. And the judge, you know, is something else. I mean, how? I mean, anyway, we shouldn't go down there. I think we have to obey what our party leader advises us, that we have to be law-abiding and we have to respect the judiciary. Even
yes,
who are not really worthy of respect, I would add there.
definitely.
Yeah, so it's 9 o'clock almost. I think we can wrap up now.
No questions.
Sorry?
We have no questions. We have no more questions, eh?
Yeah, we have questions. We have so many questions, but you know, I think you know, it's a long list. You know, I just have to pick which ones we have. Yeah, it's because it's been going on, and so many people have joined us, and so we can go through all of them. Okay, so yeah, so we cannot talk about the policies that we need to do about the IEC. I mean the what's it called again? Because I saw last time the lady came, Sarah Wada, is it Wada Diba Wada? Is it, yeah, Diba Wada came? Yeah, only Diba Wada came, and she was talking about, they were trying to explain the ICT policies that we could have, and they needed a technical person. So that's why I thought we could volunteer a little bit and talk about that, as well as the security reforms that, you know, what I think that's going to, that, you know, to give them ample time to talk about, to give us ample time to talk about that will take a little bit longer than 12 minutes. So I think we can do that next time. Hopefully the beast will let, you know.
Yes, we only hope there's no bombshell next week.
Yeah.
We hope that it's calm, but I mean, we should make sure that Karamba, wherever you are, you're needed next week here.
Yeah, Karamba Touray. Yeah, I think we should do that. Yes. We should invite some of our people to come around and talk.
Karamba should be here, and I'm going to send him a personal message for him to come to this forum, and we should try and get one of the MPs back home, like either Sana Jawara or Alaji S. Dabo. See whether they can come over. Yes.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, we can start looking into inviting people on board, and it would be great to get our spokesperson, Mr. Tal. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure Almami would love it. Yeah. I mean, Almami would love it. I think from now on, we've done our best now. We've raised this profile. It's not that we're abdicating. We're just doing the diversity business, trying to expand it. There are times when myself and Kejau will take over, but there's sometimes when we want to just bring somebody else.
Yeah.
We hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we've done extremely well. I think we've done extremely well on this program. And now we've set pace whereby we're not in competition with anybody, but we just want to bring in more people on so that it becomes a reasonable platform for everybody to gel in. Yeah. I mean, the comments I've received from people, as I said, are always encouraging, and we should just continue building this program to make it sustainable, because it's 13 months for elections, or 14 months. We now have to get our act together and sell our message to the Gambian people.
Yeah,
we are the party of the majority, and we have to show it. Yes.
I agree. We have to bring in. I'm really looking forward to getting people like Mr. Sane, you know, the finance minister, to come around and talk to us about financial policies. You know,
I mean, that's a homework for Jarai Sane. So if she's listening, that's a homework for you. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we are not abdicating. We will still have our one-to-one program, but we just thought that at times it's best to bring fresh people in, just to give us more steam.
Yeah.
Because what we are saying is just our opinion. We want to hear from what the party has to say. And if things go well, we might bring Mr. Dabo here and grill him properly. I mean, we forget that he's our leader, but just to grill him properly, for people to know that we mean business.
Yeah.
This diversity show is part of something that I've been yearning for a long time, and I have to commend Kejau for coming up with the idea. I don't have any problem with other radios. It's just that we just expand our wings so that we can attract more people, and so that people will understand the standing of our party and stop this negative perception that the party is affiliated to an ethnic group or to a section. It's not. It's for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's everyone's duty, everyone in UDP's duty to make sure that we remove that, because we have to be very very inclusive to everyone, and this includes speaking a neutral language like English, lingua franca, so that people will feel welcome. We can bring people like Rohit Malik Low and all those people.
Oh yes, we can bring Rohit Malik Low. We can bring Talib Bensouda.
Yeah.
We have to open it.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have to open it because what the people are looking for is for us to demonstrate to the people that UDP is not what you think UDP is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a duty to every UDP. We tried it though. We brought in Pata PJ initially a couple of times, and he abdicated on us. But
don't worry. Pata is a good friend. I wouldn't agree to say that. Pata is a good lad. He's a good lad. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can extend the invitation to Karamba and diaspora. I think that those are easier people to attract. But then the people on the ground also is really, really important. We talk to them and then see how we can bring them on. So we have a duty. I have a duty to talk to Jarai and all those people and even those on the ground to see who we can bring along.
To cut it short, maybe tomorrow we'll decide and discuss it in our private quarters, and then we'll make an announcement by Wednesday who's coming up.
Yeah. And then we will start. We will keep it as a town hall and take concerns that people may have. Bearing in mind that these are concepts that are really hard to grasp for many people. Legal concepts that we're talking about here, and the fact that many people are not used to listening to UDP speak English. In platforms like this. I mean, that's the reality. And I think most of our audience are probably mainly based in Europe and Central Europe. Where they have most of them have started, forgetting about English. This is a reality. I've lived in Europe, I've lived in Norway, I've lived in Netherlands, and I've met Gambians there. When you talk to them, most of them they will switch back to Norwegian when they want to speak English. So we can't.
It doesn't matter. I mean, we've made a lot of breakthrough on this, and we just have to continue with what we're doing. I mean, as I say, you look at the hits now, it may look very low, but because of the time factor, but give it another 3 weeks or another 3 days, it will be more than what people are viewing at the moment. We got to understand that our program clashes with other programs, but we want to be, we are not in competition. We're just giving the Gambian people a variety.
Yeah. And yeah, I must say it's during when we are viewing it, we hits from up to around 100 and 120. But afterwards, we get up to 7,000. So that's
the problem is we are not in competition. We're just giving people the choice. If you're tired with for the people by the people, you can come and listen to our program. If you want to listen to our program at a later time, because that's the time you want to understand what we're saying, fair enough. Just do it like how Doy used to do it. When Doy started, it wasn't about quantity, it was about quality.
Absolutely.
We're having quality here. Yeah. Anyway, Kejau, it's been an honor having you. And I must say, you always ask me questions which make me crack my brain. And that's kept me very young. So I'm thinking more about all these issues. So feel free to invite me to this program whenever.
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of confidence as to the issues. And I appear before this program as as an ambassador with a small a of the party to promote the ideals of the party. So it's all of us are ambassadors in this party, and we should make sure that we spread the message out to the people, the undecided majority, or as they call them, the silent majority, because we cannot afford to allow Barrow to win 2021.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
So it's the onus lies on all of us on social media to sell the message of the party. And the message is under the principle of justice, peace, and progress. And if you know all those fundamentals, then you know what you're into. So that's my take for now. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have you on board, and you're always going to be central to this. Even if you have guests, you and I are going to host this, and because you have very much wealth of experience, from the struggle up to the UDP history, and you don't even have to dig from the bottom box yet for us. But we learn every day from you, and as a senior member of United Democratic Party, the senior person in our community. I think it's very, really important that you come down here and talk to us, especially about issues that people ask us every day, because every day people will ask us questions, and we can't have answers to all of them. So it's important we have somebody like you who can talk to people on the ground, or go to town, as Mr. Drame used to say, and recite for us. And it's important to tell the people that I never ask you these questions. The questions that I pose to you, I never ask you before the thing comes. It's always like throwing at you at the last minute, and you answer them brilliantly. And you are a resourceful person, and I must say that I learn everything. Myself and the audience learn things from you every day. So we are grateful for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Goswell, once again, and hopefully next week we will get more people to come and join us. It's going to be 3 or 4 people. I'm sure we can accommodate more, but we will try and stick it to at maximum 4. 2 of us and 2 other guys. And we are going to stick to English. We can talk in Wolof as well. If we have somebody who is more comfortable speaking, or any language that they want to speak in. But our emphasis is going to be in English, so that we can attract more people into our party who may not be really comfortable speaking English. So I hope our audience bear with us and understand that this is a diversity. So we can speak good English, Mandinka, and they can engage us in Mandinka if they want. But the emphasis is that we want to attract other people into the party, into the dialogue, if you like, so that we can talk about these things. So thank you very much, Mr. Goswell.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.